Hey, welcome to part 4. In part 4 we're gonna be finishing up the cleaning of the base layer. And actually I'm just gonna select these two, go in solo mode. It's just gonna make it a little bit easier for me to see. Instead of having all these hair cards, now we just have two that I have to focus on. Actually first let's see. This one should be on the top. And again, I only want to edit this card, not this one, because we match this one. So we know we cannot touch that one anymore. Make sure that you get the spiraling effect. Now let's smooth everything out a bit. Now we check for any edges that are not aligned. So up to the next ones. So smooth everything out to start. Let's see, we had one card where we were saving some poly count. Did not match it. It was this one, the big card. So this one should be matched completely. I'm just making sure that I'm matching the topology on both sides. Just for consistency. It's gonna look more professional, your model. So let's move these things over. I'm pretty sure if you're gonna do some dynamic hair, like the hair will have some animation or physics, it's also gonna help if you have all these edges better aligned. because you're gonna get less clipping in your animations and physics. But I'm not sure, I think. I never tried to do any stuff like that. So we're not gonna match this edge. Let's do like this. Move this one over. Let me just check. This one. Yep, that's a nice loop. And here we just need to worry about matching it to that. Smooth it out again. I think we also don't need to match that one. No, we do. It's only one that we don't match. First, let's match this one up to this one. Get the spiral effect in a bit. And as you can see, if we have these two on top, the spiral effect is just to bring these vertices closer to each other. The closer the quads are, the better. The closer on top of each other. And now finally up to the last card of the base layer. So don't match this lineup. So we can keep the topology a little bit less heavy. Because the cards over here are already getting pretty dense on the top. But I prefer to have a bit more topology and to have the topology match. Because maybe you can save a few hundred triangles, but it's not worth it for me. But if you're on a tight budget, you could obviously, like let's say, it's also not match this one, maybe not match this one. Now you're gonna have a little bit more clipping here maybe and a bit more gaps, but you'll save a lot of topology here. So as you see, we're mixing the plugin together with some hand modeling. I think this is the easiest way to, maybe not the easiest way to work with the plugin, but the best way in my opinion. First lay down all your cards with the plugin with curves and the nice controls. Then just come in by hand and clean them up a little bit. This way you get the best of both worlds. So let's see. I think we can get rid of these polys. Let me check if we, yeah. So that looks a bit more clean. Let's check the right side. We didn't really clean this area here. Do it in a bit. That looks pretty nice. Let's get this one matched up a little bit better here. That's nice and clean. Let's get rid of the clipping here. So we have a little bit of clipping. I think I actually want to just put this one on top of everything. You can see this way the topology just looks a little bit more clean. I do wanna make this a little bit thinner. A little bit thicker. Let's move it over a little bit. And when you're doing this stuff, you do want to watch out that you're not ruining the topology that you matched up earlier. So that looks nice. And let's fix this one. It's a little bit weird. Try looking at the loop that you're creating. And make sure that everything is matching up nicely. And I'll probably delete everything that I see here. So let's take that. Take this. This just to get rid of some of the mess here. And to save a little bit on the alpha overdraw and the poly count. again, doing this, it's pretty optional. You don't have to do it, but just gonna have a little bit cleaner topology. And I do like to try to keep my topology as nice and clean as I can, because it's a mess working with here. The cleaner you can work, the easier it's gonna be. Let's count. 26. We should have 26 here. 24. 16. 15. Which is odd. So it's because this card is a little bit further than this one. So we could push it down to make it match better, but it's okay. Just gonna leave it like this, fine. So as you can see, we have a lot of messy topology here. Actually, we can get rid of all this. So let's make sure it's matching a bit better over here. Again, make it spiral, so the quads match up better. So something like that. Actually, that's not like that. Let's go export. Yeah. I think we have a little bit too much space here. So let's just select the blue group. Actually, I think we can just select. I think that's all fine in these cards. Select them. So all these. See if this works. Nope. Okay. Select them. Let's just move them back up again a bit. We don't need to do this for all. I think with 2 we're fine. Maybe with 3. This just to cover it up a little bit. The ponytail's gonna be here, but I don't wanna have that much scalp shown through. Kinda check the topology out. Let's just add an extra edge here. Same for this one, add an extra edge. I think we had one more. This one. One last final edge. Let's move this a bit this way. Make this a little bit longer. Again, extra edge. Make sure it's not clipping too much. That's nice. So let's do an export for this. And that's a lot better, the shape. Some skin shown through. So let's fix that. As you can see now, the skin's not shown through. Now the last thing to fix is this over here. Let's fix that. And all the gaps, like you can see all the shadows and so on. We need it to be tighter. So now that we finished cleaning the whole topology, let's bring our colors back. So toggle geometry edit. Let's select everything. Let's give it a red. Now select every other curve. The blue. Actually, I wanna make all the curves that are on top red. Let's select it. Make this dark red. Make these blue. And we made this a different red just so we can see difference between these two. So let's begin with the blue ones. So toggle geometry edit. Now let's select our head mesh. Remember, you have to go to the outliner because we have it on a layer. We're gonna click this icon. Now let's select all the blue. Now let's go to mesh and conform. Actually, we cannot do them multiple ones, so just click and hit G to repeat less. This is just gonna make the mesh stick to the mesh that's selected here, so face. Now let's select all the blue again. Now we go to vertex, just select all of them. And axis normal. We're gonna drag them out until we don't have any clipping. And I forgot to select those. Vertex, let's drag them all out. It's not selecting the outer ones. I'm not sure why it's not selecting all of them. So now that we have all selected, let's just drag it out. Again, make sure that you're close enough so you can see if it's actually intersecting or clipping. And we can also do an export, just make it easier to see. You can see that we have some clipping. So let's undo that. Again, just undo it a few times. I think something like this, maybe. And you can see how much closer we're getting to the cap now, to the mesh. So let's try this, export. You can see how much distance we now saved. It's a lot closer to the scope, so that's good. And let's do the same for all these. So mesh, conform. Just repeat the process. And let's select all the light red. Just drag them until they're not intersecting with the blue. Try to keep them as close as you can. And it's better to have a little bit intersection and getting the cards more close together. Let's say like this maybe. Now we can just select the middle edge and drag it out a bit. This is gonna fix some of the intersections. We can do the same here, but with the outer edge. So we can select the middle and shift and drag. It's gonna invert the selection. Let's get rid of the root. Now we can push this in a bit. Let's repeat repeated. Actually, let's not do that. Let's go back. And only do it for the ones that we actually need to do it for. Now, Leslie, let's do the dark red. I'm gonna drag this one out the most. Because it also needs to cover this one. Make sure it's not too far away from the other cards. Maybe something like this. Now let's just select these two. I'm gonna drag these out a little bit more. We can also use the soft selection just to drag out this part. Second. So let's do an export and see how everything's looking. Also gonna make a new save. You can see how we now have a really nice base layer. We have a little bit of intersections we need to fix. But we don't have as much shadow in the caps anymore. Of course we're still gonna have some gaps. You cannot avoid all, but it's okay. Because we're also gonna be covering this with breakup and other cards. But we got rid of the most that we can. So let's fix the intersection here. It's this card. You can see if we turn off ray tracing, you don't see anything at all. But since ray tracing looks more like Unreal, we'll keep that on. But if you're doing your render in Marmoset, you can turn ray tracing on, off, and just see which one you like better. But generally speaking, ray tracing looks better. Let's also select all the topology. As you see, we have some space in between the roots and the haircuts. That's pretty bad to have. And you might think we can just select this and move it down to fix it. But as you can see, we get some clipping and whatever. Let's undo that. One thing we can do is we can go... Let's turn that off. We can add an extra edge. Let me say, like right here is where all the hair roots are, so I'm gonna put it there. I'm gonna repeat this for every card. Now let's select all of them. Put them all in vertex. It's a little difficult to see. Now, if we move this down, not sure why it's not going down. That is. If we push this down, you can see how the roots are like getting a little bit of curvature. Now it's gonna blend in better with the scalp. We go to the front view, we can see all the shadows in space. Let's do an export. We still have some, but it's a bit better now. Like, I'm okay with this space, it's only a little bit. Maybe we can push this one a little bit more close. Also do the same for these three. And I'm not too worried about the roots over here, because it's the back view and you're gonna look at it less. But for the front view, it's more important to make sure everything's looking good. So let's do the same for this side. So we can also come back later and spend more time on the base layer if we want to fill out all the space a little bit better. But for now it's okay how it is. I think we have a really solid base layer now. So let's do one final export and check it. And this one's a little bit too much, actually. Just wanna see if I can fix that one really fast. I'm holding down shift to select multiple vertex. So let's select the whole base layer again. Make sure to turn off toggle geometry edit. Select all the curves. And let's just give the final color. Let's just go with a neutral color. So this is gonna be a base. That's all done. So let's go back to our breakup and hide it. Now you can see we have a lot of space in between. So we're gonna need to adjust this a little bit. And we can do this with curves, moving them, or the same as we did earlier with conform and moving them out. So whatever you prefer. And again, we can just go to the curves. We can still edit them, like they don't break. But I don't want to edit anything with curves anymore on the base layer. You can also click here, by the way, to only see one thing. Like if we click the curves, we only see them, or only the geo, or the different colors. Like this is a way to visualize the layers. So let's keep it like this. Let's move our breaker back. Let's also go to Unreal Engine. Just do a quick re-import to see how the base layer is looking here. Shadows are a little bit less prominent, but you can see the card, but only a little bit. This is the thing that's gonna, like this difference between good hair for games and bad hair for games. If the space is a lot here, it's gonna tell, like right away you can tell, oh this is hair cards because of a lot of space, and you can see the individual geometry. Like the more it looks like one hole, it's gonna look better. Like right now, we also have some intersections we should fix. Right now if you look at it, I can clearly tell here's one card, here's a card, and here's a card. But after we do all the layers, you wanna be sure that you cannot tell where one individual card is laying. So let's go to mom set. Do we also have it here? Here we have a little bit less clipping in the actual layer. So let's make sure it's not clipping in Unreal Engine. Let's get the breakup out for now. Just move this a little bit. First let's fix the clipping here. At this point I want to make sure that I have no clipping at all, because we're finishing up the whole base layer. So no clipping here, let's check Unreal. Little bit still here. That's why it's important, even if you're checking your mesh in Marmoset, that you also check it in Unreal. Again, I'm just focusing on one problematic area at a time. This is gonna make it a little bit easier for me to fix, because I don't want to overwhelm myself with all the issues at once. Still a little bit. I'm only moving it little by little to try to fix the clipping, but keep it as close as I can to the scalp. And that made it worse. So let's push these two out a bit. Fix the intersection. And I think that's should do it. That's looking good. I do not like this negative space here. Let's go to Maya. You can see here that we have some space, so let's just move this a little bit. You can see now we don't have it. So I think on top everything's looking fine. So we just need to get rid of this problematic area. And then we can finally call the base layer done, which is amazing. I told you this layer is just gonna take a lot of time, because it's the most important. So it's this card. I think we can soft select it. Just push it a bit. Now as you can see, because our edges are aligned, if I just move it out, it's gonna fix all the clipping really easy. If they're misaligned like this, it's a little bit difficult to fix. And then if I push it out, you're gonna see that we have a lot more space in between the cards. Because now we have an edge going here and an edge going all the way here. So now we get this triangle shape, which means that at the vertex there's gonna be the most space in between the cards. So now the triangle shape, it's following and also following in the next card. So we have two shapes like these, top of each other. which is gonna make us able to put the least amount of space in between the actual cards. So let's do an export. See if we fix the clipping. So a little bit more at the root. And this is why you want to make sure that you install this plugin. I'm gonna make it free to download. But if you go every time you select all the hair and then you go file, export, blah blah blah, it's gonna be so slow, your workflow, and it's gonna add a lot of extra time. Especially if you're working with marmoset, it's easy, just export and marmoset and that's it, you see your mesh. I wish we could do it in Unreal without re-importing it every time. But it's the way Unreal works. Because it makes an asset in Unreal from the OBJ. You get an Unreal Engine asset. There's a little stub in this area. So move that one down, this one up. A little bit of clipping here. I'm pretty sure that's the last bit of clipping that we have. That's on this card. And that fixes it. I think we made an intersection. As you can see, finding intersections is a lot more difficult without different colors set up. That's why when we work, we use different colors. Now it's looking pretty nice in all everywhere. Maybe actually looks a little bit more similar without the ray tracing. I wish there was like an in-between. Like now we don't have enough visibility of the individual cards. Now we have it too much. So now we can call the base layer done. So let's take a breakup. Let's move it back. Let's just do an export. As you can see, we do need to fix the spacing issue. Because now we have way too much space in between. So take a look in Unreal. It does look a bit better in Unreal than Marmoset space issue. So you can see it's too see-through. We can clearly see that it's 2 layers, 1 and 2. Let's go fix it. So that's it for the base layer. In the next part we're gonna continue the breakup layer.